And we're on the line this morning with Shawn Ford, the superintendent of the Purchase Line School District. We'll talk our conversation brought to you by Marcus and Maga Law Firm representing injured people. Mr. Ford, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. How are you this morning?
Wonderful, and I hope you're well in the Purchase Line District. That's actually a loaded question anytime you ask it these days, isn't it?
Absolutely. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. Hey, one of the interesting things about this whole thing, since the school year started again, is the approach at Purchase Line to COVID issues and the way that you're getting the information out. It's one of the real good approaches that I think I've seen out there. In fact, you'll actually do online video presentations where you're explaining in detail exactly what's going on. I'm assuming that when you do something like that, you're also saying to folks, if you have a question, you just need to get in touch with us and we'll explain whatever your concern is. Would that be the case?
Yes. So we kind of reserve the videos when we have some really important new information. So we try not to do them all the time, but when we have a new body of information that we feel is really important, or we're getting a bunch of questions from parents, like you said, that at that point we'll do a video. We also do letters that we post on the website. I use our all-call system, and so we try to have a lot of different ways. We use Facebook. We have a texting app, and so we try to diversify that because not everybody gets information the same way. So we're trying to we try to use various means. Like, for instance, we added 2 classes back at the high school this week, so I did a reminder call on Sunday evening. So that's just an example of that. So we try to use, various means and methods to get the word out there to people.
Yeah, you got to limit it because of all those autograph requests once those videos show up too, huh?
Yeah, so I'm gonna let that question
go. But it's very important to keep people informed, and it seems like you've struck on a pretty good formula. So when people know that they can approach you, maybe they are more likely to call and to voice their concerns, and that way there's no confusion.
And that's really the ultimate goal. Early on in the process, we tried to get feedback, last spring. And we took all that into account, and then we just kind of built a communication plan. And what was interesting is before COVID, that was actually a goal, one of the goals from the board that I had set, that we had set together. And so naturally, COVID fast-forwarded that goal. So it's actually worked well.
So this plan that you detailed this week on the website is really interesting to me because of the way it approaches it by grade level, and I'm assuming that that's because of the numbers of children in each of those grades that you address, and other circumstances like seniors and things of that nature.
Yeah, so we've approached the secondary when we had our 7th and our 12th graders in to start. We were actually able to social distance at about a 96% clip at the high school. And so each time we've added those grade bands in there, those 8th and 11th graders, when they come in, more of our 8th graders are upstairs, our 11th graders are downstairs. So our biggest challenge, like every other school, is during the lunchtime, is finding these spaces to keep the social distancing in place as they eat their food. And so that'll even be a greater challenge next week when we bring in the last grade band, the 9th and 10th graders. And so you're exactly right. That's why we've done it that way, is to try to maintain social distancing to the maximum extent possible.
And one of the other interesting things about the Purchase Line plan is that it incorporates distance learning for most all of the students at one point or another through the course of a week, and multiple times, of course, is probably the way that it's going to be. I wanted to ask, though, I asked Mike Minnick at the Indiana Junior High this question last hour, and I want to ask you from your perspective. Are there courses that are being taught online that your teachers have told you are a little bit more difficult or maybe even a little bit easier to teach than others when they are online? And does the synchronous model versus asynchronous play into that as one of the factors?
Yeah, what we did, right from the beginning, we had gone with two learning management systems, Accelerate at the elementary school, Edgenuity at the junior-senior high school. And we actually took our classes that we had that we had before COVID, and we went down through the list, and so all those classes are in those learning management systems, and they can be delivered both synchronous and asynchronous. And so what we've been able to do is, like, our teachers will, they can embed videos right into those systems to help students learn. So if they're learning a skill that day, a teacher might do a 5 to 10 minute mini lesson, and so it doesn't have to be live. It could also be recorded. And so we did that right from the beginning, and it's worked out well. It's been a big learning curve for our educators, and we've kind of keep raising that bar every time we've been out. We said, okay, we're going to add this element to that, and then we're going to add this element. And even now what we're doing is even planning for next year of how do we go backwards and go back to our normal curriculum, or do we leave what we have in place? And those are the decisions, and we're going to get input from our educators as early as starting next Monday as in service. We're going to actually pick their brains and say what's worked, what's not worked, what can we do better, where do we need to go from here. So because education as we know it is going to look different even into the future, and so we're trying to plan for that even right now.
We know that everybody has their different level of comfortability with online and working in that manner, and some teachers might be better at it or more comfortable doing it than others do. I'm sure that within the Purchase Line District, just as all districts, there are some champion teachers and champion IT departments that really they're stepping up in a big way.
A real big way. We've had some great teacher leaders emerge during this time that have not only done a great job with their own class, they've been leaders in helping other teachers, and we have a small IT department, and we've coordinated that well. But we have what we call learning sysops at both schools, and they've just been integral in doing trainings and helping teachers with various tools. And so we've had some great teacher leaders emerge, and it's been fascinating to see that. I'm kind of I had a birthday recently, and I'm kind of in that old school, so it's teaching an old dog new tricks, which we've all had to learn during COVID. And so to see some, especially our younger teachers, teaching our more veteran teachers how to do this, it's been very fun to watch. Actually, that's been to me, it's a positive of what we've gone through.
Yeah, well, I'm in dinosaur mode here. I'm in the dinosaur class. So.
I was trying to say that nicely. So.
If they could bring DNA this old back to life, then my goodness gracious. But people who have been veteran teachers have been doing it the way that they've been doing it in the classroom for 25, 30, 35 years. It is a tremendous daunting task that they have had opened up before them. But from school district to school district, I'm hearing that they've not only tackled the problem, but they've done so enthusiastically.
It's been amazing to me. There's been a lot more positivity than negativity, and that's kind of a belief that I have as a superintendent. We can look at the glass half full or half empty. It's a choice that we make every day. And so I've asked, and our principals have asked, and even the teachers, and they really have been great. They've been stepping out of their comfort zone every day. And we keep asking them to do more, and they've done that. You're right, enthusiastically is a very, very good term, because they have done it that way.
That's terrific news. Okay, so we are entering into the second half of the year. The next grading period approaches. What are some of the goals within the Purchase Line District in terms of educating kids and getting some of those spring type of activities on the radar? Because you've got prom season will begin, and all of those meetings have to be held, and graduation to be planned, and it's kind of uncertain right now.
So our first goal is to next week we are anticipating, as long as we stay away from any COVID cases this week, is having our pre-K through 12th grade all students in 4 days a week. We'll continue to do remote learning on Fridays, and that's really set aside to work with the students who choose to go full remote. and also a time to let our teachers embed those videos and prepare those students. So our goal is just to kind of maintain that 4+1 model here for a while. So educationally, and our ultimate goal is to get back to 5 days a week, and that's a big goal here the coming year. As far as activities, we started to talk about the spring musical. I just talked to the National Honor Society director, and he's planning his, and it's going to look a little different. Have to be in the auditorium. And quite frankly, we have not had the discussions yet on the prom and graduation, although we have tentatively reserved some things for graduation, like we did the outdoor last year, just to make sure that that's in place. So, but we haven't got into specific discussions. So that's kind of the path we're on, and a lot of planning for next year as far as curriculum planning, as far as what's going to look like even into next year. So a lot of activity and action going on out here right now.
Yeah, season of change, and it's going to be more than one season before it all gets put back together the way that you want it to look. But it sounds like you're making the hard choices and doing the right things. Shawn Ford, thanks so much for visiting with us today.
Thanks, Todd. I appreciate it, and everybody stay safe and stay well out there.
And you?
Stay well out there.
And you?